Hey, we're live. Can you take the banner off for me?
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're live.
We're live. My name is Scott Stanfield, and we're here with Fancy Pants, my producer. She was left the banner up. Episode 94, just getting off to a slow start here. Today we're going to talk about the longevity diet and specifically the fasting mimicking diet. And it says 5-day fasting mimicking diet, all the health benefits of fasting without hunger. I have done a 21-day fast. I've done the master cleanse twice for 7 days and for 10 days. Done 86 hours, which is almost 4 days on water only. And so this pan is smoking. Let's get this to calm down a little bit here. So let's turn that down. Turn it off for a second. And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about this first, and then we're going to start cooking some things that all fit within the fasting mimicking diet. Now, before we even get into that, let's talk about why you would want to use the fasting mimicking diet and why you do want to fast, or when you should time it. Now, I went out of town just the last couple of days and got to experience some really cool restaurants, and I ate more than I normally would. So what does that mean, right? I could just like, hey, I'm just not going to eat, or I could just keep going down the same road and keep indulging and considering the fact that I may need to well, our bodies are only designed to, and I love this quote from Dr. Jason Fung. He says, our bodies are designed for feast and famine, not feast, feast, feast. So if you have a period in your time, in your life where you eat a little more and you indulge, or you go on vacation or those type of things, you can do something like the fasting mimicking diet or alternate day fasting or intermittent fasting or extended fasting or water fasting or all those things. So all these things are tools that you can use at different times of the day or times of your life or times of the week or those type of things. This is 5 days, and this is what I'm doing starting right now. It is just after 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and all I've had is 2 cups of black coffee today. And instead of like going into a really long 36-hour fast or something like that where I'm doing only water, I'm going to do fasting mimicking diet because the proven benefits of this. So let's read a couple things about this first before we get started. Well, let's cut some onions and get those going in. And so basically, this is what we have. We're taking what we have in the fridge. We didn't do any special shopping or any of that type of stuff. Just going to. The first thing we're making is some mushrooms, but we're going to do some with some onions and garlic. So I'm going to get these onions in here. Now, when you're cooking on high heat, avocado oil, unless you are let's see, histamine intolerant. So good thing I have that turned off because that pan got really hot. My book's getting all splashed. Throw a couple pods of garlic in there. Doing multiple things here, checking multiple boxes because now we're working on plant diversity. Because plant diversity does what? Plant diversity feeds your gut microbiome. Because they all need all different types of fiber, which is what they eat, prebiotic fiber. And so you're going to get all the microbiome from the actual plants that are in here. The sulfur that's in the onion, the sulfur that's in the garlic. And then we're going to also got 2 types of mushrooms. We've got these baby portobellas, and then we've got these shiitake mushrooms, which should be cooked before eating. We're going to do that as well. So we're going to do mushrooms today. We're going to do asparagus. We're going to put this in the grill pan and do that. I'm going to show you how to break those down the way Grandma did it. And then I've got some Brussels sprouts steaming in the background in our bamboo steamer. Then we're going to put those in the oven and finish those as well. So those are the things we're working on today. So while these are cooking a little bit, Let's talk about the fasting mimicking diet. 5 days. Let's talk about who should not do it first. Pregnant women, people who are underweight, have low body mass index, or suffer from anorexia, people over the age of 70, unless they're in superior health, then only with doctor's approval. Anyone who's fragile, people with liver or kidney diseases, people affected by pathologies, patients who take medications should not do the FMD, fasting mimicking diet. Patients who have low blood pressure or taking medications for hypertension. Patients, oh, I got to turn this back on. Patients with rare genetic mutations that block organisms' capacity to produce glucose. Athletes training for competition. High muscular effort requires levels of glucose not available in the blood during the fasting mimicking diet. Now, the fasting mimicking diet, if you may have saw in the quote for the description of this show, it burns visceral fat and liver fat, which can help with diabetes and all those type of those things and inflammation. There's such a big connection between your waist circumference and with longevity. So if you got a big waist, you're not looking good. All right, day one, fasting mimicking diet. 500 calories from complex carbs such as vegetables, broccoli, tomatoes, carrots, pumpkins, mushrooms. Got mushrooms, we got onions, we've got garlic in here. 500 calories from healthy fats, nuts, and olive oil. Now I do have a healthy fat of avocado oil in here, but I do have olive oil here just in case I want to do a drizzle on top of something. So it's 1,000 calories on day one, or up to 1,100 calories. A multivitamin with minerals and a mineral supplement, one omega-3, omega-6 supplement, sugarless tea up to 3 to 4 cups of that a day, 25 grams of plant-based protein, mainly from nuts, and unlimited water. That's day one. Days 2 through 5, it's the same thing, but you're cutting it down to 400 calories from your vegetables and 400 calories from your healthy nuts and olive oil. So that's 800 calories total. All the other things come into play. Day 6, you can eat as much as you want, but then you add in maybe some pasta, rice, bread, fruit, and then minimize the consumption of fish, meat, saturated fats, pastries, cheese, milks, etc. Dr. Victor Longo is a Ph.D. at and a director of the Longevity Institute at USC, founder of creativecures.org. Do you have any comments that have come in, Fancy Pants? You got any questions or comments or about this? Now, because how can you have a cooking show about the fasting mimicking diet? That's really an interesting question to do, right? So you can have a truckload worth of vegetables if you're going to go try to get to 1,000 calories. You can have about 2 tablespoons of oil, which will put you about 240 calories, which is a quarter of the way there. And 1 serving of pistachios, for instance, which is about 50 pistachios, is going to put you about 160 calories. So you're going to be at 400 calories of the 800 just from 1 serving of pistachios and 2 tablespoons of oil. That's where you're going to end up with this. Okay, let's cut some mushrooms. Now mushrooms have a tendency to absorb a lot of fluid like a sponge. So you got to be careful with this. The pan may get a little dry. And I'm doing all this like basically enough for probably 2 people today. Oh, you want me to keep talking? Yeah, I'm getting prompted from my producer, Fancy Pants, over there. So just cutting some portobello mushrooms. I'm going to put these in here. These are baby bellas, those onions. And now here's another little pro tip about mushrooms. They do really well roasting. It brings out more of an earthy flavor than it would be if you just continue to saute them. So that's why I got the oven preheating in the back. Let's talk about oven temperatures. Now, I come from the restaurant world, almost 30 years in the restaurant world. They don't have multiple ovens on multiple temperatures. They may have 2 ovens on different temperatures or something like that. But when they're cooking on a line, typically a traditional line that's set to scale, you know, a station's going to have an oven on a single temperature, and they're going to change the amount of time that something is in the oven. Therefore, you know, that's the way that I cooked, right? So I can, it's all on high temperature, like 450 degrees. And again, caution you not to put any more oil in here because that would take you over the calorie count. Maybe on day 1 you could do that if you wanted to get to that 1100 calorie place, you know. But I'm going to get this all mixed really good whenever these get happy. And salt and pepper. A little dry mustard helps when you're also roasting things. Gives it a little bit better mouthfeel. Getting low on pepper here. I need to buy some more. This is just basic stuff, right? I'm not really trying to jazz this up too much. Get too much dry mustard in there, you're going to, it's going to come out tasting like mustard, and that may not be something that you like. I need a little bit of oil in here. Now, if this wasn't the fasting mimicking diet, 100% plant-based vegan stuff, you know, style of eating for this 5 days, I probably would put some butter in there, because butter and mushrooms is amazing, right? And then we also have some dried herbs from our garden over the summer. I don't know if you can see that, right? You can see that right there. We'll put this in here too, right? Got to be some polyphenols in there, some goodness, some fiber, different plant-based fiber in there to give some more diversity. So we do that. And that oil in there will also reconstitute those dried herbs in there as well. So, you know, that's the way they had to do it back in the day. There wasn't like fresh herbs in the grocery store all the time in the market. So in the wintertime, you had dried herbs to go on things. So it is wintertime still, even though it was unseasonably warm. All right, that's all getting super happy and happening there. We're going to put this in the oven, 450 degree oven. And then Lacey's going to remind me to get this out here in a minute. Let's check these Brussels here, see how they're doing. Yep, they're done. Now, we've added some humidity to this here by steaming these Brussels sprouts. And then, you know, of course, I'm used to cooking with high-powered convection ovens in restaurants and hospitals and hotels and all that stuff, right? So this is what we got going on here, right? So we're also going to put these in the oven on a sheet pan after we get these seasoned up as well. So let's do that. And then we can work on, well, this pan's heating up for the asparagus we're going to do. So some Brussels sprouts, slightly overcooked. We're going to make this happen. I'm going to do, again, because of high heat, a little bit of oil. Now, because I'm doing this for 2 people, you know, I could do 4 tablespoons of oil. Salt, and I like on my Brussels sprouts, a little garlic powder. That was a lot. All right, but it's going to be amazing. All right. This is, got this pan, sheet pan pre-warming here a little bit on top of the oven. Back there. We got this really cool toaster oven that has a convection function on it, which makes me feel like I'm in the restaurant. It cooks a lot better than it would be if you had your standard oven. because it moves that air around and really puts a dry air on it and gets that humidity sucked out of there. That's how you're going to get some crispiness on these, and it might take a little bit longer than what you think, but that's what we're going to do. There's that. So salt and garlic powder on there. The mushrooms are looking amazing. All right. Asparagus. When I worked for this really big steakhouse chain, they had a measurement for asparagus that they would measure and then cut them. No matter where the woody part started, no matter what the quality was, it was just a cut right there, right? And because they wanted them to fit in the plate a certain way. Now, what the best way to do this is basically you just grab it and you break it, right? Because it breaks the woody part. The chickens eat this, right? Our chickens will eat the woody part. They'll peck away at that, but then we get to eat the part that is just the best part there is. So I have this plate right here. We're just going to snap these off. There you go. Okay, again, fasting mimicking diet is what we're talking about. 100% plant-based, healthy fats from olive oil, or I'm using avocado oil. 5 days, no more than 5 days, because what happens is your body actually starts releasing toxins, and I've done this for more than 5 days, and you actually could get headaches. You could get all kind of things go wrong if you're going to fast longer than for this 5-day period. You should do it under doctor's supervision. Again, you may not saw the disclaimer in the intro. This is for informational purposes only. I encourage you to go buy the book or read the book or look, talk to your doctor or any of those type of things that you need to do depending on where you are in terms of your own health. I've been fasting and intermittent fasting for 9 years. So what that means is that I've got a lot of practice at this. And if you've never done anything like this, there's even Dave Asprey just recently wrote a book called Fast This Way, talking about all the different types of fasting. There are days that I feast where I just eat as much as I want, staying within a reasonable macro range for staying close to ketosis. And then there very rarely, I did here just the last couple of days, I had some berries, I had pomegranate sorbet, some saffron poached pears, all this at Sauvage, which is a restaurant in Steamboat Springs. And I had some at Cafe Diva as well. And so absolutely amazing experience at both restaurants. And I just wanted to put that out there and say that, there are times when you splurge, right? It's about metabolic flexibility and being able to burn both fuels that our bodies are designed to burn, okay, which are carbohydrates and fats. So those are the things that our bodies are designed to burn as fuel. If you're always loading with carbohydrates, then your body is not going to have the metabolic flexibility to switch or be flexible to burn other fuels. So that's what I encourage you to get into. This is not hot enough yet. Let's turn this up a little bit. Let me get these on here this way. Anything, Lace? Anybody watching? This is a different time for our show. We did it a couple hours later than we normally do. So most people are probably going to catch this on the replay. So just drop a comment in if you get this. And then we will circle back around when we see the comments pop up in our notifications. And we will we'll comment and answer any questions. So this is the fasting mimicking diet, 5-day protocol. So here's some side effects, what to expect. Okay, I'm gonna read some of these things here. Some people feel weak during parts of the FMD. Others say they feel more energetic. Number 2, some patients complain light or average intensity headaches. This effect is usually greater reduced on day 4 and 5 and eliminated entirely by the 2nd and 3rd cycle. Now you could do this cycle. You could do a cycle like this once a month. right? Until you are healed from whatever's happening. So this is a great book to get so you can understand, why you need to do this more often than it would be versus someone who like me who does it like once a quarter or a couple times a year. And then number 4, some people suffer slight backache that disappears once they resume a normal diet. Positive effects. In addition to the production of stem cells, which we all, people are getting stem cells injected in every parts of their body, right? We can produce those naturally. We can even produce stem cells for your brain fertilizer by fasting for 24 hours, right? So this is you get the benefits of fasting without having to fast, and that's by eating 1,000 calories or 1,100 calories on day 1. Days 2 through 5, you get it's 800 calories. Yep, so 800 calories. So we've got some asparagus going here. Let's see what's happening. That's coming around. We got that heating up. We're gonna go through the rest of the benefits here. As soon as these mushrooms are ready. Perfection. This looks good. Grab a bowl here. And then something to eat this with. Could even garnish this with a little bit more of the dried chives that we had. Our chive bush comes back every year and just totally. We have any more of those? We still got scallion. That's about a month we've had that scallion going on. Got it. No comments yet. All right, a little crunch here. All right, let's put just a touch of, put a spoon on this. A spoon for, right? There's a little olive oil in here. So many benefits to olive oil, right? So many benefits. Okay. All right. We've got a little mushroom action. Let's try this. Mushroom and onion. If you want some real action, just grab that garlic pod and go for it. You want some? Okay, I'm gonna get you a shiitake. There we go. There we go, fancy pants. All right, what do you think?
It's really good.
Really good?
Yeah.
Awesome. Put those on the top shelf there so we can get a little circulation of the air with the Brussels sprouts. This out of the way. So fasting mimicking diet. I love this. I love the fact that we can eat and get the benefits of fasting. Right? He studied blue zones, and now Victor Longo is originally from Italy. So Sardinia, spent a lot of time in Sardinia studying that blue zone and their diet, their exercise programs. He's got it all laid out. So it's not just diet. It talks about exercise as well. Even talks about protein for if you're going to be working out, how much protein you need as well, which is nowhere near as much as what we've been told. The garlic's good. Let that sit for a minute. You want this? It's always good when your daughter is eating vegetables, right? It's all good for you. Organic, I have to make more of this. Let's do it. Need more onion. Brussels sprouts are coming around. Okay. Let's heat this up back here. So this is day one. We can do 1,000 calories. That's caliente. Caliente. So now, Lace, talk about the flavor of the mushrooms. How is that in comparison to if I sauteed the mushrooms completely, right? So what's the flavor like from roasting them?
Well, when you roast the mushrooms, they get like a smoky flavor because the oven is closed and the smoke stays in. And when you saute them, it gets like a caramelized flavor from the onions.
I might finish these bad boys in the. I got some color on this first side. Season them again. Yeah, this is just a simple, nothing fancy. Let's just make some vegetables so we can get the benefits of fasting without actually fasting. Got those onions in. Going to do some more mushrooms back there. But yeah, if you run, through any calorie tracker, vegetables, right? You're going to find that vegetables do not contain a lot of calories. It's the other things you add to them that give them the calories. And like obviously the oils and cooking this, like if you put butter in it, those type of things. It's fats contain way more calories than what vegetables do. And so you can eat, like I said, a truckload worth of vegetables and still stay at 400 calories or 800 calories. You do not have to worry about calorie counting if you're going to do that. I feel like I need to do more. I feel like your mom's going to want some of these. Oh, these shiitakes. Love these, but you got to be sure to cook these. All right, so let's talk about tomorrow's episode. DeAndre is going to be on. DeAndre's father passed away from cancer, and his dad used to roll around this big old tire like you see those people in CrossFit, like you see them, flipping over and all those things. And DeAndre is going to be on the show, which is, I got to do the garlic too. He's going to be on the show, and we're going to talk about that. He actually is now a personal trainer, is coaching clients on how to lose weight and doing two things at one time. So DeAndre is going to be on the show. I'm super excited to have him because our connection with both of our parents having cancer. My mom and dad had cancer at age 55, just a couple years apart, and they survived. Mom turned 70 next month. Dad's 72. So, my heart goes out to people whose parents have had cancer because I've been there, and it's not a fun place to be at all. And so I'm excited to have DeAndre on to hear his story about rolling this tire around the town and inspiring people to lose weight. He lost 50 pounds by doing this himself in honor of his dad. So this is going to be a great story. And then Ken Fay, my friend, the storyteller, Emmy Award winning director, producer, writer, storyteller, is going to be on the show on Friday morning. So tune in for that. That's going to be on March 12th. And you guys know me, I'm into storytelling, love telling stories. You know, I was on our local KPC radio years ago, you know, telling the story of Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and Ruth Bertel and how she mortgaged her home to buy a 60-seat steakhouse. And it's a great story. I like my Brussels crunchy, right, with some color on them and a 450-degree oven. You believe it or not, just coming out of the steamer, this is what we got here, right? So got some, what is that, Lace? What do you call that?
GBD.
GBD, exactly. All right, so we got this in here. I'm going to put this, now that we've got these Brussels sprouts out. This might be the first cooking show in history where we actually cook the same dish twice. Let's put this in the oven. Garlic and onions. Got the mushrooms right here. We'll get this all happy. Let's try these Brussels. Here, try this. Let's get a crunchy piece in there for you. There you go, babe. I can tell she didn't want to try that, but I think they need a little salt. What do you think?
It's pretty good.
Pretty good?
Actually, I'm not a fan of Brussels sprouts, but full Brussels sprout, it's good.
Those are good. They're sweet, aren't they? A little sweetness, a little crispiness, a little softness on the inside.
A little deliciousness.
Again, you know, a lot of people don't a lot of deliciousness. A lot of people don't connect the dots when it comes to things like they think about food allergies and they actually may have a histamine intolerance because their body's overproducing histamine or something like that. And they don't realize that avocados, they're going to ketogenic diet, they start eating avocados and guacamole like there is no tomorrow. And then they're putting tomatoes and eating salsa and, you know, all those type of things. And then they're eating aged meats like salamis, or they're eating, you know, tuna fish salad with mayonnaise to get their high fat and all those things. And what are they doing? They're just overloading their body with histamine and can't keep up. When histamine, you know, it's basically this. I read this one time. It's basically like this. You got a fly in the house, and that fly is flying around. And instead of grabbing the fly swatter, you go grab the shotgun, right? To try to get that fly out of the house, right? You start shooting around the house with that. And that's what happens when people start sneezing when they have that. So things that are aged, what are things like tofu's aged, miso is aged, you know, anything that's fermented's got some age on it as well. All those things. Cheese is aged. And so you start thinking about that, you know, aged meats and those things are going to going to add to a histamine release, and that your body could be low on this enzyme called DAO, right, which breaks down histamine. So you got to be careful of those things. So I have to be conscious of those things, or I'll start sneezing or act like I have a food allergy or something like that. So you just got to be, some people are it's almost like a food allergy, but it's really a high histamine. All right, more mushrooms. And the asparagus is in the oven. So diets are tools, right? Tools. Your dogma, your diet dogma, is 100% plant-based right here. You may say that, yeah, I want to be plant-based. I want to be vegan. I don't want to touch any animals and those type of things. But there's your ideology about what you think about eating plants and animals and not eating animals or those things. Match up with what's best for you for your biology. So look at what your ancestors and where you're from, what they may have eaten, right? And what kind of microbiome you have. You can even get a test, right? Biome has, you can get a test and do that. There's so many different things that you can do. All right, so this is ready to go in the oven. Roast these up. Now, see how this asparagus is doing. Need a little bit more. No, nothing. All right, you want any more? Good stuff. Let's pull this asparagus out and let's wrap this up. This fasting mimicking diet, how to cook for that. You could do so many things with this. It's unlimited, right? So you could do that. And then, what you could do, right? It's like, how am I going to brighten this dish up? You could put some lemon zest on there. We don't have any citrus. We love citrus so much that it all is gone so quickly, right, Lace? And, oh, excuse me, Fancy Pants. Code name Fancy Pants. Right, so what if you did this, right? What if you said, hey, I'm gonna add a little action to this dish, right? I'm gonna, whoo, didn't need that one. I want some extra sulfur on there, a little raw onion, so healthy for you, right? You just add a little color to that, right? Like that. Do that. And then bring some salt to the front. Little electrolytes to the front. And then you have it. We've made 3 dishes today. We already ate this. We ate the mushrooms with onions and garlic, Brussels sprouts with garlic powder and salt. And then there's so many things you can do this if you're not doing the fasting mimicking diet. And then we've got this asparagus with Some red onion on there. Let's just grab this and see how it tastes. Come on. Mm. Mm.
That's really good.
That's really good.
I love asparagus.
The host has unmuted your mic. Right? I don't know who was muted, but wherever we are. Say that again about asparagus. What'd you say?
I love asparagus.
You do? You love asparagus. So mushrooms, Brussels sprouts, asparagus. This is all we're eating today. This is my one meal for today. Fasting Mimicking Diet, 5 days, 1,100 calories on day 1. You can have some olive oil, some nuts. And then on day 2 through 5, 800 calories max. You get the benefits of fasting without having to fast 100%. And then you want some more asparagus? There you go. There's a whole plate. Again, Victor Longo, Ph.D., Center of Longevity, University of Southern California. His book on longevity. Amazing stuff. I say go pick it up. And my name's Scott Stanfield. Right over there eating our asparagus is Fancy Pants. We're going to wrap it up. It's time to roll the credits. So watch tomorrow with DeAndre on the show. And then again on Friday with Ken Fay, right? One of my favorite storytellers of all time, right? Look forward to having you visit and watch the show. My name is Scott Stanfield, episode 94, Modern Longevitarian. It's time to roll the credits. Find yourself